Welcome back, everyone, to your podcast, our podcast, the Popular Side Podcast. As always, he's Yinka Yusuf.
Good evening, people.
And I'm Akin Adeke. Yinka, you did say good evening. It is evening. We're recording on a
It is evening.
Monday.
Yes, it is.
Monday, the 24th of February.
Yeah.
Once again, I'm the reason we couldn't record yesterday because I was traveling
Ajala.
back.
Johnny Man.
I was traveling back from the UK.
Yeah.
But now we're back in a normal environment.
Yes, we are.
Everything seems to be working fine. Everything crossed. We'll see. Yinka, before I say anything, apologies to viewers and listeners because I feel like our final cut last week was a little rough because when I watched it back, there was just some transitions was a little rough. But that's consequence of being on the road, you having mic issues, all of that stuff. So hopefully,
crazy.
Yeah, that was bad. Okay, but we're here now. You good?
We are. I'm good. Ready to go.
Okay.
Good to
You're
go.
ready to go? All right. So
I'm ready to go.
Yinka, this is gonna be not a rushed episode, but a quick, fast episode. And there's a couple reasons for it. We have a lot going on. You have a lot going on. So we got to get you out of here at a decent time. So let's get to it.
Yes, sir.
So first, you do the reminder for the 50th episode giveaway. This is our 53rd episode for those who are wondering. So you do that and then I'll run through the agenda.
Fantastic. So our giveaway is still ongoing. Guys, subscribe to our YouTube channel, answer the questions that we post as comments on the 50th episode. At this point, you can't even answer on any episode. It doesn't even matter at this point. We'll gather everything together, all right? And the prizes are still a brand new PS5 and selected jerseys for four run-outs. That's the quick fire response to that. And just in general, guys, I do this at the end of the episode. I guess I should just do it now. Giveaway or no giveaway, subscribe to our channel, tell your friends about us. Anything that comes across, anything from us that comes to your attention on any social media platform, you know what to do. Like, comment, tell your friends about us. We need to get to that landmark. We're still not at 1,000 subscribers yet. We're close, but we need to get there.
On YouTube.
On YouTube.
Yeah.
Yes.
On
YouTube.
Yes.
Right? So please, guys, join into 1K. We need your support. Let's go. Okay.
All right. Thank you, sir. All right. So quick rundown of what we're going to do today. A lot has happened in the world of the Champions League. So we will talk about the Champions League. The format, the first elimination, I guess. The two legs are done. And then we'll look forward to the proper second round matches, pre-quarterfinals, whatever they're officially calling it. We'll talk about that. We have some bits and bops, as you might say. NBA All-Star Weekend, some shenanigans afoot there. But we'll talk about that. And we will spend quite a bit of time talking about the EPL. So apologies in advance to some of our friends like Enro who hate the EPL. But there's a big story in the EPL, and we must talk about Liverpool, we must talk about Arsenal, and we must talk about City. So we will do that. We will spend quite a bit of our time on that. But Yinka, without further ado,
yes, sir.
Let's get into our wordy mentions. Let's start with the NBA All-Star Weekend. You had some observations. So let's go with your observations. Yeah.
So as usual, the weekend was boring. The dunk contest was won by the same guy that won last year, Mark McClung, or was his name?
And the year before, it's 3 times in a row.
This is three-peat. Yeah. They changed the format to kind of spice it up. For me, it still didn't work. But the most important or the major news was what happened with LeBron. So typically, if you're injured, you pull out of the All-Stars if you're selected, and they replace you with someone else. But in this case, LeBron didn't pull out. It didn't until the day, or is it the day before? Or the day he came out and said, "I'm not playing. I have foot discomfort." And he still took pictures with the starting five on the All-Star but he wasn't wearing the jersey. He was wearing mufti. He was just wearing his jacket and stuff. And I'm like, guy, this is the first time ever that I'm seeing this. What are you? Are you so desperate to just get your numbers? Oh, 22nd All Star selection, or so? What are you driving at? What is the motivation for this? So that was my initial thought until I saw someone that said, "You know, if he had pulled out of the All Star game, the ratings would have tanked a lot more because people only want to see LeBron James." And I'm like, I don't think that is the case. I sincerely, the dunk contest, in my opinion, was the highlight of the All Star game. Yeah, it was the highlight of the All Star game. Right. So if LeBron had played, it would have still been playing as if, in fact, pickup basketball is they play way harder in pickup basketball than they play in the All Star game. It's a comedy at this point. Yeah. So I think it's about LeBron once again thinking of numbers, trying to prop up his numbers and stuff. Right. So I thought that was interesting. What's your take on that?
So I'm taking my time because we do have some friends who watch who have accused me in the past of being anti NBA, which is a little crazy if you think about it. So I'm a big NBA fan. I'm not a fan of this generation. I've told you that this generation puts me off. And it's not just in sports. I don't like the culture that this current generation is promoting.
Yeah.
I don't blame LeBron for all of it.
Mm-hmm.
In many ways, even when he's a good role model, the generation behind him is worse, right? But money does something to people, and the
Yeah.
money is too easy in basketball right now, right? This
Yeah.
is not me being a hater. I would love to make NBA money. You would love to make NBA money, but the money is now divorced from reality, right? So
Yeah.
let me just give you some numbers, Yinka. In LeBron's NBA lifetime, right? And I know it sounds crazy because it's played 20 years, but just let's go with it. When LeBron joined the Heat, right? In the summer of 2010, right? I know that's a long time ago, right? But it was the summer of 2010. The max salary at the time, right, was 18, 19 million, right? If you're signing for your team, if you're
Yeah.
re-signing with your team.
Mm-hmm.
For LeBron, who was moving to
Yeah.
another team,
Per year, right?
right? It was, per year. It was like
Yeah.
14 to 16 million. I remember it was a big deal at the time because LeBron and Dwayne Wade, quote unquote, took less so that
They could get
Bosch
Bosch on
could
board.
take a little bit
Yeah.
more, just a
Mm-hmm.
little bit more. So each one of them was making 14 million, and then Bosch was making just under 15, something like that, right? But no one in the league that year, I believe, I could be wrong, made more than 20 million. This is 2010. Within a couple years, those numbers, those numbers just, I don't know, just exploded, right?
Yeah, it's
And
like
now
triple now. It's triple.
it's
If
triple
my
now. That's my
more
point.
than triple. Yeah,
But but Yinka, that was 15 years ago, but it didn't take 15 years for it to triple,
it did not.
right? It
Yeah, it did not.
it doubled within a couple years, right? So
Yeah,
now, so what you see, and don't compare don't compare the NBA with with football in Europe, right? Compare with the NFL, right? The only sport, or the only position in the NFL that you can really compare the NBA salaries to is the quarterback, right? So quarterback salaries have gone the same way. They used to be 14, 15, 16, 20 million. Now they're 50, 55, 60 million. That superstar NBA player and quarterback is the same. Why am I
yeah,
saying all this, right? There used to be a time when the average salary in the average veteran salary in the NBA was like 2.5 million. Now, an average minimum player makes 10 million, right? So I say all that to say everything has gone to hell,
yeah,
right? So no one takes anything seriously anymore, and that's hard for me to watch, okay, and I watch players who are fundamentally unsound, I feel like this is the only sport where the sport is not getting better. The product is not getting better. You know what I mean? Well, because I can say, look, there are superstars come and go, so I'm not measuring by superstars, but I can tell you that in football, like European football, the average player is fitter today than even 10 years ago. They're better today than even 10 years ago. You know what I mean? Like Henry may be better than Mbappe. We can debate that, right? But there are, the average 17-year-old today is more ready than the average 17-year-old even 10 years ago. I cannot say that for the NBA, right? The game is not better. The players are not better. You know what I mean? Like there is no Chris Paul anywhere to be found in the NBA. The point guard position is dead, right? There is no Shaq. The center position is dead. Everybody's a slasher. Everybody wants to shoot threes, right? And I warned last season that if the WNBA takes that route, they will be dead on arrival. I'm seeing the WNBA also morph into a 3 and no D league because that's the NBA right now. It's not 3 and D, it's 3 and no D. Everybody shoots threes, nobody plays defense. So for me, it's a terrible product to watch. It's impossible to watch. Yes, they're still a superstar, whatever. They're still superstars. But the average player is terrible. They're impossible to watch. And they make 3 times as much money as they used to make just in LeBron's lifetime. So I blame him. I'm not surprised this happened. And he absolutely did this on purpose. He waited until it was too late. Because guess what? Giannis withdrew and someone else came in.
Trae Young came in.
Trae Young came in. The kid from Atlanta came in. Right? That's what you're supposed to do. And guess what? He had plenty of time because I think this year they played later, right? So I think this year they had games until Thursday. Usually they stop playing around Tuesday. They had games until Thursday. So you had time. You had time to know your foot wasn't going to be able to go. So I don't want to go too far on LeBron, but that's my response to it. But it is what it is.
It is what it is. Let's roll. Let's move on.
Okay. So, Inka, let's talk about the UEFA Champions League. We had, what are we calling the first round that we just had? First round? First knockout round?
Let's call it that. If you want to call it that, round of 16. Okay. You can call it round of 16.
But it wasn't.
It is.
We're just about to get into the round of 16.
Okay. Okay, yeah, right.
Remember, there's 8, then 24. So it's really 32. But yeah.
Call it round of 32 then. Sorry.
Okay, so the round of 32 of the first knockout round just finished. So and so what we're gonna do, Yinka, let's take that, and then let's take the draws that came out of it, and then we're probably just gonna talk about it together. But a couple things from the second leg results of the round of 32.
Yeah,
Bayern had a lucky break.
Yeah,
City had a very, very predictable debacle. We both predicted it just last week. Every single Italian club was dumped out of the competition. And a man we both really like, Mr. Gasperini at Atalanta, may be a racist. Where do you want to start?
So let's start in the order that you ruled it out. So let's start with Bayern's lucky break. Yeah. So we both watched the game because I remember we were chatting and we were watching the game, and Celtic could have scored at least 4 in that game. At least 4 in the first half.
Yeah.
And I kept on. I was telling you. I said Bayern are living on the edge. If Celtic should dump Bayern out of this tournament, I'm not sure company will see the weekend.
You said that.
And it was so bad that Celtic were clearly the better team. Then what happened? Celtic eventually scored. And the game was gradually itching towards extra time. and Bayern had a fluke of a goal in injury time
Yeah.
to make it 1-1, and then they that's how they're moving on to the next round. They were lucky. They didn't deserve
Yeah.
that draw. And across both legs, the first and the second leg, in my opinion, I think Celtic went the better side, and Celtic should have gone through if they had a better finishing on the day, especially in the second leg, right?
Yeah.
But overall, I think they were the better side. Bayern are lucky to go through. And to make
Okay.
matters now worse for Bayern, Akin, before we move on, Bayern's next draw is a derby, a German derby. So they've been pitched against the person that they are challenging, that's challenging them for the Bundesliga, Leverkusen. Yeah. So Company might be lucky against Celtic if he does not go through Leverkusen again and Leverkusen dump them out. I'm sorry, they're gonna fire him. That's what I think. What's your take, Aki?
Okay. So I think all the kudos in the world to Celtic, right?
Yes.
So before I talk about Bayern, I think with the exception of maybe half an hour or a quarter of the first leg, I think they were fantastic. Um,
Absolutely.
their defensive organization was really impressive. They played really well. Schmeichel has been a very good leader for them as the goalkeeper.
Goalkeeper. Yeah.
But they lost the first leg at home, 2-1 to Bayern, right?
Yeah.
And then they go to Germany and they score a goal. They kept it tight, score a goal, continue to keep it tight. But then basic defensive errors on that last play after
Yeah.
90 minutes. I think they'll learn from it. They're going back with a ton of money, so good for them. They don't play in a very competitive league, but I think we need them to continue to improve in the Champions League. That makes the Champions League better, right?
Yeah. I
And
agree.
when, this money they're making will help them attract players like Schmeichel, who may not want to play in the in the Scottish Premier League because it's not competitive enough, but who will be guaranteed Champions League football, even if they have to go play, like a qualifiers or whatever. But the better they do, the less likely they'll have to play a qualifiers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When their
I
coefficient
agree.
goes up. So I want them to continue to do well, right? But you're right. Bayern were lucky.
Lucky.
There's no other way around it. All right,
No, they were lucky. Let's move on.
let's move on. City, we call it a
Yes, sir.
debacle. What say you?
We've had this back and forth for a long time now. Where
Okay.
you think they'll be fine, right? I'm sure they'll be fine now. We can remix it a bit to say in the long run they'll be fine because I told
They'll be
you
fine next
those
season.
results they'll be fine next season because those results they had, it's because they had favorable fixtures. They were playing Leicester, right?
Yeah.
And they met Newcastle on a bad day. Newcastle, and that's the problem with Newcastle. Newcastle, they're Jekyll and Hyde. Today they are world beaters. The next week you're looking at them and like, what are you doing? Yeah. So City they were flattered a bit with some of the results they had, and people thought everything was okay for them. Yeah, I agree. If Haaland played the game, would he have changed anything? I don't really think so. They were comprehensively beaten by Madrid. Comprehensively. Mbappe was looking like the normal Mbappe that we all know, right? And Rodrigo, Vini, they were running rings around the City defense. It says a lot where City's best player is their 19-year-old defender that played right back, Kusanov, right? Kusanov actually kept Vini quiet to some extent. Is the rest of the team couldn't just hold on to Rodrigo and Mbappe. They were just running rings around them all through, right? So City fans might not want to hear this. City are in transition. They are officially in transition. I saw some whatever on my timeline earlier on today where someone was saying we want to thank KDB, Kevin De Bruyne, for what he has contributed to English Premier League, right? But it's curtains right now. Thank you very much. You graced the Premier League with your skill, with your blah 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 blah. But it's curtains. Yeah. I kind of agree. I think we've seen the best of KDB. I think he's picked and he might still go somewhere else and still play good football. Can he still play in City? Yes, but can he play at the level, the world beating level that we had 2 seasons, 3 seasons ago? I'm not sure anymore. I don't think so. And there's nobody that is stepping in to say, let me take the reins and let me. Foden looks a shadow of himself, right? So obviously, you guys see what we've always been saying about Foden. I will take a dig at Cole Palmer also right now. You see what we've been saying about Cole Palmer, right? Right now, they have wilted in the spotlight. They are like hiding. The two of them. They can't carry, they're not carrying their team right now. And I can't say that for a particular black boy that plays for us. Anyway.
That's what this is all about, isn't it?
Okay, over to you.
Okay. So with City, Yinka, I've said a few times on this podcast,
yes,
I've confessed to the people why I like doing this show with you. Do you remember?
Yes.
Okay. Tell the people why you like doing this show with me.
So, because we hold ourselves to, we have honest, intelligent discussion, and we call ourselves on our BS when the BS comes out, you know, when we
Yinka, when
we start going the other way.
Tell the people what it is I never do. I never overreact. I never overreact. You know why?
But sometimes you should react, but you don't react.
Okay, I hear that. I hear that. But Yinka, both of us.
Yes.
I mean, we're dating ourselves a little bit. We're almost 45 years old, right?
Yes.
So we cannot analyze like we're 12 or 15.
Yes.
Right? There has to be a difference, right? And I also cannot respond to things like football just started yesterday. Or worse, that I did not watch last season and the season before that and every season ever in my lifetime. I have all that up here in the database up here. So I can't come up here and pretend like we've never seen this before. When I've literally seen this before. I see it all the time. This is what I mean, Yinka. Okay, I'm gonna, you know how much I like comedy, like stand-up comedy. I'm gonna quote my guy Chris Rock. It was in a different context. It was talking about white people who said they're losing, and it was like, if you're losing, who's winning? Right. So if City are struggling, who is winning? On top of all the great players they have, Yinka, they got 3 more in January. And I think they bought them for the future. They're young. They're hungry. So I'm like, I'm supposed to feel sorry for City, or I'm supposed to bury them and say they're in transition when they've already replaced all the pieces they need to replace, and they still have Haaland. Yinka, City are fine.
Can be correct, Aki. Two things can be correct, Aki.
Okay.
Aki, when was the last time? When was the last time that you saw City? When was the last time you saw them in a top 4 battle?
Yes, you're right. Not since Pep came in. You know, it was the season. It was 2015, 2016. The season. Leicester.
That's almost 9-10 years ago, Aki. What I'm saying, what I mean by transition is very simple, right? I'm not saying by they're in transition they will be Man United. Man United have been in transition since I was a baby.
Stop it.
Chelsea, right? I'm not saying that they will fall to the depths that those guys are right now.
Okay.
Yeah? But it is not I believe it will be naive for you to say right now that even the people they bought are ready now. The people they bought, except for Mamouche, they are more or less, we're looking into the future. And you think they bought 3 players in January, watch what they do in the summer.
I know.
A major overhaul is coming in the summer. Yeah. So that's what I mean. That's what I mean by transition. I'm not saying they will fall. I'm not saying they will now come to 13-14 like our guys, United and Chelsea, 13-14 para for gang. But that's not what I'm saying. They're not good. Okay. I don't think they'll fall that low. But right now, they are in transition. There's a shift that is going on. That's how I see it.
Okay. So I don't want to flog this too much because we don't have a lot of time. But I don't have a crystal ball. I cannot see into the future. But if you ask me, and I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if Liverpool will collapse. I don't know if Arsenal will win their last 12, right? I don't know if Arsenal will collapse. I don't know what will happen. I don't know what will happen with Nottingham Forest, even though they just lost. And I don't know. You've already talked about Newcastle. I don't know what will happen. But but the one thing I do know, and I don't know if Pep will stay or leave.
He said two things. Let's give it that to him. Yeah.
Two things I know. City will come third, possibly second this season. City will not come fourth or worse. So technically that's still top four, but City will not struggle to get into the top four or to stay in the top four. They're fourth right now.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
That's one.
They'll probably come second at this point.
Okay, we'll talk about that. And then number two, they should be everyone's favorite to win it again next year. Not Liverpool, not Arsenal.
I need to see what happens in the summer.
That's what I'm saying. No. Without you seeing what happens in the summer.
Without me seeing what happens in the summer, if everyone stays the same, right? Yeah, it's still going to be a top three. It's going to be a top three.
Because guess what?
Yeah.
We're seeing since Mo Salah became a top level player, this is this first injury-free season. It's never happened before. This is it.
And knock on wood, I don't wish injury on anyone, right? But
and he didn't go to the Euros, and there was no AFCON.
Yeah.
And that's the difference. Foden that you talked about went to the Euros. Is struggling. Saka out. A bunch of other people went to the Euros. So again, you need context in all these things, right? So for me, everyone who is laughing at City and just calm down. Calm down.
No. So those people laughing at City, like you said, those are the 12-year-olds that we're talking about, right? I'm not laughing at City, but I'm telling you right now that in summer, the exodus that will happen at City, you'll be shocked. You think they bought 3 players? Watch what will happen in the summer, right? A whirlwind is coming, and it will blow a lot of people away. A lot of people. Let's move on to the Italian teams that were dumped out.
Okay, so let's take that and the Gasperini one. So you set it up, and then we'll go from there. Yeah, go for it.
So in the round of 32, Juve, it was Juve. Remind me again.
PSV.
Juve.
PSV.
No. I want to list out all the Italian teams. It's Juve, Atalanta,
and Inter.
And Milan. No, Inter. They had an automatic qualification, so they are.
Sorry. Yeah. It was AC Milan. Sorry, not Inter.
Milan.
Not Inter.
Yeah. So all the teams had favorable first leg results, right? Based on the first leg results, the whole Italian nation thought, come on, we'll do the needful second leg. Yeah? Because Milan were at home, Atalanta home, it's PSV it's Juve that went away to PSV. And surprisingly, they kind of just self-destructed. All of them.
Yeah.
Milan scored first, then they had a red card. Then Feyenoord equalized and Feyenoord won based on, aggregate result was 2-1. Atalanta, same thing. Atalanta had multiple chances. They kept on missing until Lookman came on board. Lookman scored. Then they had a penalty, which Lookman took. We'll get to the point. We'll get to the story of what happened or what transpired before then. Then Juventus, they just messed up. They should have beaten PSG. I don't know what happened to them. They lost the plot. So all the 3 teams knocked out. So it's only Inter Milan that is left in the Champions League representing it. Quite unfortunate. Now, focus a bit on the Atalanta incidents. So like I said, Ademola Lookman came on. He scored. They had a penalty. He took the penalty and he missed the penalty. Yeah, and fast forward to, I didn't even know anything. It was the next day that I heard. I thought it was a lie. I said, no, now Gasperini is an old man now. he couldn't have said this until I saw that it was legit. And I'm like, what is going on here? What is going on here? The man actually said that Ademola Lookman is the worst penalty taker of all time. That is what he said. And Ademola Lookman has played 4 penalties for Atalanta prior to this, and he has scored 4. However, the Retegi that you said our penalty taker is Retegi missed the penalty against Arsenal. You and I watched the game. Retegi has played 6 penalties this season. He has missed 2. He scored 4. So where is Ademola Lookman is the worst penalty kick taker of all time? Where is he coming from? Is he coming from something that happened several years ago when it was at Fulham, when he attempted a Panenka and he failed? Are you blaming that guy for a Panenka that he did when he was a teenager? He has scored 4 penalties for you, Gasperini. 4. And that's what you could say? And you said it out to everybody? So when this happened, I just remember, this is the same thing that happened to Victor Osimhen when he missed his penalty. That the Napoli official Twitter account was mocking their own player.
Yeah.
And this is an Italy that is rampant with racism. Let's call it what it is, right? Let's call it what it is. And Ademola then came out and he released a statement which was perfectly worded. And he kind of insinuated that, guys, there are so many things that have been happening to me here that I've been managing, I've been riding the wave, yeah? Just for the sake of, I want the team to proceed, to progress. I don't want to be a cancer and whatever. I've been stomaching a lot of stuff. That's what I read from that. And he said, I'm quite disappointed that this kind of thing will come out. Fast forward to the game they played over the weekend. He scored 2 beautiful goals again. 2 beautiful goals again. So why would you throw your best player under the bus? The guy that won you your first European trophy in like forever. He scored a hat-trick in that game. He was by far your best player. That's Africa's best player. Why would you come out and say it's the worst penalty kick taker of all time, Aki? I've tried to dissect the whole thing. The man came out. I thought he was going to come and apologize. That is earlier on today. He doubled down on what he said. So after the doubling down today, I just said, man, there's nothing else. There's no folder I can file this under that, other than he's a black boy. And you needed a scapegoat. Blame the black boy. You guys can make of it what you want to make of it. Aki.
So, I'm going to go to scripture on this one. So,
Pastor.
No, seriously.
Youth pastor.
Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh. Right? So, that's who the man is. You know what I mean? It was just an overflow of what was in his heart. You know? And, we like saying no this and no peace. Just accept it. If you're raising kids in places like Italy and other places where they're likely to face things like that, tell them the truth and give them, don't let them go out into the world with a quote unquote victim mentality. I'm not advocating that, but at the same time, don't let them go into the world thinking racism doesn't exist. That's just being naive and that's being dumb. That's you not doing the work. That's you not doing your research. And that's you not giving your kids the cultural competence to survive where they're going. You're not protecting them. You're making them less likely to succeed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like telling them the truth and then equipping them with the wherewithal to succeed is the right way to go. I'm not being prescriptive. It's just the truth. Telling them that racism doesn't exist or they're just like anybody else. They are like anybody. They might even be better than most people. That's not the point. It only matters how do other people see you, and the people that are doling out opportunities, how do they see? And if you don't believe me, Yinka, Ademola Lookman had a chance to settle the matter within the four corners of the field. right?
Yeah.
Because he's a player. As a doctor, you don't get that chance. As a nurse, you don't get that chance. You know what I mean? And it gets even worse. As a teacher, you don't get that chance, right? Because you and I have had, I don't know, hundreds of teachers in our lifetime. What makes a teacher a great teacher? It's not like you can score a penalty or you can score 30 goals a season. It's not that black and white. There's a lot. That's the thing. The kinds of professions we push our kids into, they're not that black and white. Yeah. And that's the reality of it. So a lot of it is subjective. So you don't know when you see a doctor who is a great doctor. But the converse of that, right, is when people are not used to seeing a black person in that role, then they immediately think that you're not good at what you do. And you don't get a chance. You don't get the first 5 minutes. You don't get the first 5 days. You don't get the first 5 years to quote unquote prove yourself. And after a while, when you're proving yourself all the time, it becomes tiring. I'll tell you, that's where I'm at in my life right now. I'm tired of proving myself. And I no longer want to do it. Not to get too personal, but that's where I'm at right now. I'm like, how much longer can I keep proving myself? I'm tired of it. But it hasn't changed who I think I am, because the one thing I don't have a problem with, I don't have a problem with knowing that I'm good at what I'm good at. But I'm also not 18 years old. I'm also not 27 years old that Ademola Lookman is, right? So again, to wrap this up, if you keep thinking racism doesn't exist, that's fine. That may be a good defense mechanism for you. If you're telling your kids that, it's like telling them that Santa Claus is a thing, Father Christmas is a thing. You might as well be telling them that. You're doing them a disservice. All right.
On a lighter note, Akin, you mentioned Chris Rock earlier on. We can go back to Chris Rock also, just to let our people know what we're talking about is real. Chris Rock had a joke, one of his earlier comedy specials, where he said, "In my neighborhood, it's me, Jay-Z, and Mary J. Blige.
Mary J. Blige,
Those are the black people in my neighborhood. And guess the white neighbor that I have, guess what he is?
He's a dentist.
He's a dentist." There's a dentist. And he said, "Do you know what a black dentist will have to do to live in my neighborhood? He will have to invent teeth."
I remember. It was one of his best ones.
Chris Rock said. That's what Chris Rock said.
But,
anyway,
but it is what it is.
Let's move on, Aki.
We move. Okay. So now let's stay in the Champions League and just look at the draws coming. So so the City and all the eliminated sides are out. Good luck to them next season. Yeah. Let's talk about who is still in it and what do we think about the matchups.
I hate these draws.
Okay.
I hate these draws. I'm just gonna tell you off the cuff. Yeah. Because why is Atletico Madrid playing Real Madrid? Why is Bayern Munich playing Bayern Leverkusen? Where yet you have a Club Brugge playing Aston Villa. What's going on? This is round of 16, Akin. You have enough to make these teams avoid themselves.
So, I don't know.
This is ridiculous.
But it was worse in the last round. Brest versus PSG. I mean,
yeah. Yes, the aggregate was 10-0. PSG Brest.
I know.
10-0. Anyway, so quickly run through. It's PSG Liverpool. That's a major banana peel for Liverpool. PSG, they are just chilling in the French league. They've won the league already, so they can afford to rest as many players as they want and come and focus on Liverpool. And the game is next week. Tuesday or so. It's next week Wednesday, one of the two. It's just around the corner. The first leg of the round of 16. Yeah, and this is after Liverpool would have played. They're playing this midweek. They're still in the FA Cup, so they're playing. Are they out of the FA Cup? They're out of the FA Cup, so they don't have a game. Out of the FA Cup.
Plymouth.
They're out of the FA Cup. I'm trying to remember if there's. So there's Premier League game tomorrow, and there's FA Cup over the weekend, and there's Champions League midweek. Okay, yeah. So that is the situation for Liverpool. So they will rest over the weekend, so they should be fine. But PSG Liverpool is a banana peel for Liverpool, major one. Real Madrid Atletico Madrid, a Madrid derby in a round of 16 is absolutely stupid. I'm sorry, it is stupid. Yeah, but I'll be happy if they eliminate themselves. I don't know. It's a derby. Atletico Madrid can get Real out of the way. It's possible. Cup football, like I say, anything can happen. Yeah.
Okay.
Then you have Feyenoord Inter. I think Inter is going to win that one. Dortmund Lille, very, very useless tie. Dortmund Lille, round of 16, where you have Bayern Munich, Bayern Leverkusen. When you have PSG Liverpool, you have Real Madrid Atletico. So Dortmund, Lille, Feyenoord, Inter, those games are low profile, too low profile. Club Brugge, Aston Villa is too low profile for a round of 16. Too low profile. So I don't know what they did with the draws. PSV Arsenal. PSV are a good side anyway, but PSV Arsenal is low profile.
They met last year.
They met last year.
Remember? Okay.
Yeah, they did in the group stages. So PSV Arsenal would have been a walk in the park for Arsenal, but given Arsenal's current issues that we'll talk about, that's a major banana peel for Arsenal. Major one. Then, like I said, the last one is Benfica Barcelona. These guys played. That's a big one.
I know.
They played the 5-4 game that we also that we're all happy about. They played. So once again, why is Benfica playing Barcelona? They've already played in this year's Champions League.
But there were no group stages, remember. So
it doesn't matter, Akin. I've seen 5-4. I've seen Benfica back up before this season. I shouldn't be seeing them again in the round of 16. I'm seeing Benfica back in the space of 6-7 weeks. What are we talking about?
Okay. So for me, all right. So should we make predictions, or should I just give my opinion?
Go ahead. Make predictions, opinions. Shoot.
Okay. So quick on opinions. I think there will be at least 2 major changes next season. I think the format stays. Format stays. But I think they will do something about, because you're going to get more, England might get 5 in the Champions League, right? Top 5.
It depends on how this pans out. Yeah.
Yeah. So you will get even more opportunities for that to happen, right? So they're going to do something about, hey, maybe if you're the number 1 team from one country, you can't play someone else from your, whatever it is, right? But so they're going to fix that. So I think they will fix that by next season. So that's one. Then I think 2, I don't think they'll change the format, but I think it will be less random how they meet each other in that first round. We'll see. Okay. I think they might go to like a mini group situation. That's my 2 predictions.
Again, they're not touching anything.
We'll see.
I'll be shocked if they do it 1 year, unless it's so bad. I think they might just want to give it one more shot with this current model. Then the next season they might then make amendments. But Akin's not. I'm not feeling it. I give it all the chance in the world.
No, you didn't. All right. So my prediction: Liverpool will advance, and it will be pretty easy. I mean, PSG on the continent they haven't been good. At home they've been good. So Lille, Dortmund. I think Dortmund will advance there. Arsenal, PSV. I think Arsenal will. I don't care about the injuries. Arsenal will advance there. I think the last time Atleti and Real played in the league, it was a draw. I think that's my toughest one. I think legs will be broken. I think arms will be broken. And I don't know who is going to win. If I had to choose, I'll say Real because it's over two legs. So I'll say Real just has more firepower. But I can see 1-1 and 2-2. And then PKs. I can definitely see it. And I can even see 3-3 because Atleti can score. They can score, So that is the toughest one for me. Who is Inter facing again? Remind me again.
Inter Feyenoord.
Oh, yeah, Inter. That one's easy. So that's 5. There's 3 more.
So there's Club Brugge Aston Villa.
Villa.
Club Brugge at Aston Villa, yeah?
Yeah, Villa is
Villa
Bruges
go
are
through
not
for
good.
that one.
Yeah, Bruges are
Yeah,
not good.
okay. Bayern Munich, Bayern Leverkusen.
Let me come back to that. Keep going.
Benfica, Barcelona.
Barcelona. Barcelona will get.
Barcelona.
Barcelona will go. Barcelona is on a mission. I think Barcelona, for me, they might be the favorite to win it all. And I don't think they're getting enough respect. But back to Bayern versus Leverkusen.
Yeah.
I I don't think Leverkusen will catch them in the league, even though I think Leverkusen can catch them in the league, but I don't think they will. But on this one, Bayern have the experience, Leverkusen don't. I think Leverkusen wins. I think Leverkusen gets through. That's my prediction. I have to choose one.
You've just thrown your guy under the bus.
I know.
No, if he loses this game, he's gone.
I know. But it's two legs.
They might just indulge him till the end of the season.
I know.
I don't think they're keeping him.
But Yinka, you know why I'm going Leverkusen. So the way they prosecuted the Europa League last season, this Bayern team, they have experience, but not really. Not everybody, not Harry Kane. Okay, I hope it doesn't happen, but I think it may be Leverkusen. All right, so we said we're not gonna do a typical European tour. I'm looking at the time, Yinka. So let's just go straight into the EPL, okay? And Ro, apologies in advance, and just talk about Liverpool, right? They played. This is the toughest run for them, right? Yeah. Even their easier game against Wolves ended up being tough, right?
Yeah,
that was a tough game, but they got through it. We thought Villa was gonna be tough. It was. We thought City was gonna be tough. It wasn't. It was very, very easy. This is their first win against City at the Etihad since 2015.
Yep.
Since 2015. That's 10 years.
Since 2015.
So this is the first time they've won since 2015.
And it's not the scoreline. It's the nature of the defeat. It was comprehensive. City were just moving ball side to side, no penetration, nothing. Doku. So that's
I didn't watch it. Yeah, I was on the plane.
When I tell you that there will be major changes in City in January, I mean in summer, right? Doku, Savino, they are squad players. Pep needs his starters. He needs starters. Do you understand? And he's going to go get them. That's why I said, Man City's faith, if it's this same team, they're not going to be bad. They will still compete. But they will not. This same team cannot get to that, even if Rodri comes back, I want to believe. See, Rodri was never a fast player, but if you do your ACL, it shapes something of you. There are very few players that do their ACL and they come back at the same level that they were prior to it. That's the honest truth, right? And it takes a lot of while for you to trust your body again, right? You won't want to get into challenges, yeah? You're not giving it 100%. So even if Rodri comes back, I don't think Rodri alone will save. As much as I love Rodri, I don't think Rodri alone will save this current squad as it is, right? They are toothless. I'm sorry. Yeah, Doku, Savinho. Yeah, if Foden comes back to his form, fine. Yeah. But going back to Liverpool, I've said this before and I'll say it again. They had a horrid time last season with injuries. Yeah. Very, very horrid time with injuries. As at this time last year, they were top of the table.
With 5 points.
With 5 points. Then the injuries kicked in. And Liverpool that's where City and Arsenal, then it became a two-horse race. So I think Faith is just looking at them and saying and telling them, you've had your fair share of injuries last season. I'm going to keep you guys intact this season. They're a good team. Are they necessarily the best team? I'm not sure, but they are the fittest team. They are the team. Look at that lineup yesterday. I'm like the only person that I saw in the lineup that I thought was a tactical change. It wasn't even because it was Curtis Jones. That's all. Slot said Curtis Jones play first 9. That's it. That's all. Every other person is their typical starting 11. And they are arguably the only team in the Premier League right now that can say I have at least 80-90% of my starting 11 fit. And it's been like that for the whole season. So they are the fittest team. That's where they're top. But I'm not taking anything away from them. Salah is having a fantastic year. Yeah? Salah is having a fantastic year. The whole team is just... See, Akin, if you watch the way they play, the guy doesn't even track back. He just say, you know what, we'll do the hard work for you. Just stay for that counter. And they are fit. The way they sprint, you would think somebody will pull a hamstring. They're not pulling anything, Akin. They're not pulling anything. They're sprinting all over the pace, and they're coming back the next game. Nothing. There's like, everything is fine. Martinelli just, a small sprint like this, hamstring torn. Somebody is holidaying in Dubai, tore his hamstring.
But you know why, right? You know why?
You believe it's the Euros and the cumulative games that they've played without proper rest, yeah?
So a couple things. So one, I was accused by the Liverpool fans in my family, and my brother-in-law, that
you want to full disclosure. Do you want to full disclosure that, or you don't want to?
Oh no, it's okay. It's okay. By my spouse, her brother and her daughter, that I'm unfair to Liverpool, and that you are the fair one. So I just want them to hear you say that. What did you say again about Liverpool? Don't change it now. Just lay it out.
I said they're a good team, but the reason why they are top of the table is because they're the fittest team.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay. So good. Because I told them that you're not what they think you are, because they don't
don't do that. Guys, I'm who you think I am. I'm a very, very open, unbiased. I just gave you all your flowers. I just said Salah has had a fantastic season. I said Liverpool have been grabbing back for forever, right?
Yes,
for me, Salah number one, Gravenberch is Liverpool's second best player this season, right? Konate and Van Dijk don't even have anything to do. They don't. They hardly even... You see Van Dijk's hair is still perfectly permed. Nothing. No. It's like he just came out of the shower and after 90 minutes, he's doing nothing, Aki. Nothing.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Even Trent
Alexander-Arnold, yeah.
Trent Alexander-Arnold, his defensive shortcomings are not even... They're not there this season because he's not even required to defend.
Because they finally have a midfield. That's why. So throughout Klopp's reign, he didn't play... we talked about this before. He didn't play with a midfield. But he bought these guys. Slot hasn't bought anybody, right? So again, let me... I'm gonna go from this to Arsenal and City, but let me jump in.
Yeah.
Right? So the summer transfer season for Liverpool, they bought two players: Mamashvili, a backup goalkeeper who was sent out on loan, okay, and Chiesa, who, if they had bought him 3 years ago, would have been great when he still had an Achilles. Now he doesn't have an Achilles. That's why they got him for like $2. Right?
He hasn't played up to 90 minutes in the EPL this season.
He's played in the cup. I don't think his body can. I don't think, because he's better than most of the guys that are playing.
But better than Gakpo.
It doesn't have an Achilles.
Better than
Diaz. It doesn't have an Achilles.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then in January, they bought 0 players.
Zero players.
Zero players, right? So technically, there is no one contributing to Liverpool's title run right now that came in the summer or in January. So, and I'm saying this for a reason, Yinka. I'm saying this for a reason. Most champions, right, don't become champions. You can fact check me on this. Don't become champions because of who they bought in January. And it's hardly ever because of one or two or three people they bought in the summer before the season they became champions. And you can go back to even unlikely champions like Leicester. Who were the players that Leicester brought in that season? I think Conte was the only one that was only there for one season. For that one season.
No,
even he might have been there.
I think he did 2 seasons.
2 seasons. So
I think he did 2 seasons.
Anyone watching or listening can fact check me, right? When people say buy, again, I will give you the facts. Okay? Yeah. Google is there for everybody. ChatGPT will do the work for you if you don't want Google, right? Most teams that win don't win because of what they do in the transfer window, right?
No, win because of what they do in January.
Or even I'm saying, or even the summer before they win, or even the summer at the beginning of the season.
It's a cumulative effect.
It's a cumulative thing. You know,
it's not I have a window and it changed my fortune. I've never seen that happen before.
It doesn't happen. You know, you usually need
I don't see that happen
windows.
Before. Yeah.
So we've talked a lot about Liverpool. I got to talk about Arsenal. And I want to talk about the worst fans in the world again. Okay. there is no fan base I hate more than Arsenal fans. They are the worst.
Yes, they're the worst.
Yinka, let me just give you a sprinkling of the things I've seen and heard since Arsenal lost a game. That's all that happened. Arsenal lost a game. They lost a game to the 16th best team in the league. It should not have happened, right? They played poorly. It should not have happened. But guess what? You lost 1-0. Let me tell you, I haven't done an Arsenal rant in a while. So rant incoming. You have, Yinka, as I name these players, I want you to give me the equivalent on Liverpool, if you don't mind. I'm giving you homework. Okay?
No problem.
The attacking players that are injured for Arsenal.
Yes.
Bukayo Saka.
Salah.
Bukayo Saka. That's Mo Salah at Liverpool.
That's Mo Salah, yeah.
Gabriel Martinelli.
That will be Luis Diaz.
Luis Diaz. Okay. Yeah. Gabriel Jesus.
That will be Nunez or Cody Gakpo. Anyhow you want to dice it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kai Havertz.
So it will be one of those front lines too that we mentioned already.
So what was
the front line? So we're saying Salah, Gakpo, Luis Diaz, and Darwin Núñez. The 4 of them. Take the 4 of them off. Are injured.
So you're now playing Chiesa, right? You're playing Curtis Jones as a false 9,
and Harvey Elliott.
You're playing Harvey Elliott, and you're telling Szoboszlai to move up.
Yes,
play in the whole.
Yeah.
Right. So that's Arsenal is down to bare bones. So let me tell Arsenal fans again, and then I heard we should rebuild, we should blow up the team, and I was ashamed to be associated with these people. Like, if I ever stopped being an Arsenal fan, it wouldn't be because of the club. No matter how poorly run, it will be because of the fans.
It will be.
You know what I mean? But they are the worst, Yinka.
Okay, sorry to cut you short, but I've gone through this cycle before. There was a time where I said, I don't want, this. There was a time I said, I don't want to have anything to do with this fan base. It is just too toxic. It is the sense of entitlement is too ridiculous. The nature, the level at which they are unrealistic is it's crazy, Aki. Sorry, go ahead.
So, friend of mine, super intelligent guy, right? He comes at it from a different angle. He thinks my standards are too low.
Yeah.
Right? And he thinks He thinks the only thing that matters is you win. And if you're not number one, what are you doing? So every season you're not number one is a failed season. That's a very crazy American way of looking at sports. That's not how I consume sports.
But
right?
that's how a number of people look at it these days.
That's okay. That's
right?
Okay. That
and so I think if that is the case, that means we won't have a league. So what is West Ham ain't gonna win the league? So why are they playing? No. What are they playing for? Leicester ain't gonna win the league. What are they playing for? And they will say, hey, if that's the case, that means your standard are low. Yes. I said it's all about expectations and what you deliver. When Leicester gets into the season, the expectation of their fans is, I want to stay in the Premier League. That is what they are for supporting their team for. They are not. It's not because we have weak mentality. It's not because they don't want success. It's because they are being realistic. This is where we can get to.
Yeah,
it's simple. Very, very simple. Go ahead.
So, okay. So, I'm gonna try and not make this rant 80 minutes long, but for me, it's very simple. Am I disappointed? Yeah. Number one, the season is not over. Okay. Arsenal have 12 games to play. Liverpool have 11. Now, don't get me wrong. If on Saturday Arsenal had won, okay, they would have cut the lead to what, 5?
8. It would have been 5. Then 5. Liverpool what? They would have gone back.
And then if Liverpool had lost at City,
it would have been down to
5
2.
Would have been down to
potentially
2.
Yeah.
With a game in hand, right? That would have put Arsenal back in control of their own destiny. Yinka, please hear me well.
Yeah.
In the space of 24 hours, we go from Arsenal could potentially be back, right? With 12 games to go, a game in hand, and a win at Anfield away, and matching Liverpool away from winning a title. But you want to blow up that team? Okay, they lost. But you know what, Inka? Even without injuries last year, they also lost to West Ham at home. And with injuries this year, they went to West Ham. I beat them, 5-1, 6-1, 6-0?
6-2 or so. 6-2.
No, they didn't score 2. Like that. They didn't score 2. It was either 0 or 1. They didn't score 2.
No, West Ham scored 2. They scored 2.
Are you sure?
I remember vividly they scored 2.
Okay.
Yeah, it was Wan-Bissaka and a free kick by their left back, Emerson. They scored 2.
So, 6-2. Right? So, again, but we've seen this team struggle against low block teams with Martinelli playing, with Odegaard on form, with Saka. So for me, it's hard for me to analyze like I was just born yesterday. Like, football just started 2 hours ago. Like, we know what we saw. So everyone, again, I'm tired of saying everyone needs to calm down because it's never going to happen. Go ahead, Yinka.
So I will take it a step further, right? Because I kind of psychoanalyzed some of these fans that you're talking about. And we can clip this, and I don't care if it gets viral and people come for me. Because that's become a thing now. I said some egregious things in the past and they've come for my head. I don't care at this point. I'm going to say this. For those fans, it's no longer about the club. It's about them.
Okay. Say more.
That is the summary. And I'll explain. See, because they have so boxed themselves into a corner of this banter society that we have now, that any small thing, they are more interested in having something to stick to their friends, the people that have been mocking them forever, the people that have been, do you understand? And they are tired. They are tired of defending themselves. They have this coping mechanism of pulling up that shield of, we are the Arsenal, we'll come back next season. So they've buried themselves deep in quicksand to the point right now where all they want is Arsenal to just win the league. I don't care. There's no nuance, no context, nothing. All I want is Arsenal should win the league. I don't care how you do it. Because it is borderline a mental issue for me that you see Arsenal win a game, you see the same fans the way they are celebrating and they are celebrating everybody. Arsenal lose or draw a game, it's night and day, Aki. It is black and white. No context, nothing, no nuance, nothing. It's just fire Arteta out. It got to the point that people were blaming Nwaneri.
I don't know, Yinka.
And I'm wondering what's going on.
Yeah, okay. So my final take on Arsenal is very simple. Is it possible, Yinka, that there's a better coach out there than Arteta? Yes. I don't think he's necessarily the best coach that ever lived. It's very possible, right? But it was also the coach that took the team from 8th place or 10th, whatever it was, to where they are now. Like, Yinka, we would have killed 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago to be in a title challenge. That's all we asked for. And now we've been in a title challenge 3 years in a row, right? Klopp was in a title challenge for 7, 8 seasons. He won once. And
he won once.
We still respect him. We still love him, right?
Absolutely.
So, and the final thing I'm going to say on this thing is, I think what happened, Yinka, was the way Arsenal finished last season. The last 16 games in the league, they won 14. Yinka, they won 14. Guess how many goals they scored in those 16 games? They scored 53 times. 53 times, right? And because of that, I think because of that, our hopes were raised. And I think the club took it for granted that we can score enough goals.
So,
and they didn't buy a striker.
I will correct that. Yeah.
Okay, go on.
If you can go back to the tapes, I've said this before. Last year was that Arsenal team performing out of body. They were.
Yeah, you said it. Yeah, you said.
That is not the norm, right? Those boys were motivated. They really wanted to knock City off their perch, right? And it took a lot out of them mentally.
Yeah.
Yeah. And part of the issue is the recovery this season, which is why, I will say it again, I can blame the club for not doing the proper thing from a player acquisition standpoint. I can, right? And this is not me hating, right? I would have done things differently. Or do I get why they are not just buying people for buying sake? I do. But I would have done things differently. I would have explored the loan market a lot. Asensio, Kolomwani should be playing for Arsenal right now. That's what I'm saying. Our front line should be Asensio, Kolomwani right now. Even Rashford to some extent.
Yinka, you killed me. You killed me when for 2 years I said I wanted Rashford. Look at him now. Look at him now.
Look at him and Asensio, what they are doing at Villa. Villa have a new lease of life because only Watkins is on E already, right?
Yeah.
He needed help. He's not injured, but he's not performing as well as he was. So
he missed 2 games. He was kind of injured. Yeah, he missed 2 games. Yeah.
So that's a hierarchy problem, and frankly, we run football. We know how this thing. You make business decisions. Apart from football clubs, we have businesses that we run at. You need to make the tough call at times. It's not all about. You can't always be a fan. You run your business to the ground. That's what happened to Leeds United when they were in the Champions League with Mark Viduka and the rest of Alan Smith and the rest of them. You need people to make objective calls. Yeah? So I'm not really mad at the club for not buying recklessly. I would have loved loan deals. You should have explored the loan market. That is the only criticism I have, right? But nobody. Liverpool had the same injuries madness last year. See what happened to them. They went down. That Liverpool team, last year, who did I say was going to win the league?
Liverpool?
Remember, it was Liverpool. Because I said they have a good squad, and they still do. And their players, we thought Salah is still going up. Salah is having his best season ever right now. No injury. Saka, who is your own best player, is injured. Right? And once again, the universe listen. When Arsenal fans were shouting, "Get this donkey out of my club," the best thing that could have happened to Kai Havertz was the injury that happened to him. I said it.
Yeah.
I said it. Right? Because right now, the boy is having a mental holiday. He's at peace. Right? As a fan, your job is to support your club. You're not playing God to say, "Get this guy out of my club." Do you think he's going to improve his performance? You're stuck with the guy. Stuck with the guy. You need to support them. That's what you're there for. But like I said, the fans have boxed themselves into a corner. They have. It's no longer about Arsenal. It's about them. How do I look in front of my friends? They've been making jest of me. Banter is too much. I need something to so it's that frustration that they are shouting about. And I'm like, maybe it's because you and I are old, but there are some old guys too that say all this rubbish. Actually, there is more to life than football. Arsenal lose a game. I blank. I move on with my life. I don't sit down there and pout for weeks. I look forward to the next game. Let's on to the next one. If anybody comes and wants to be doing banter with me and say silence is the best answer for a fool, I don't have your time.
Okay, so Yinka, speaking of the next one, let's very quickly, in 2 minutes,
yes, sir,
talk about midweek matchups. So
yes,
Liverpool play Newcastle, Forest play Arsenal, Spurs play City, Napoli play Inter. So
those are like the four key games. Liverpool, Newcastle. You still have some hope that Arsenal can still. I don't. I'm sorry. And I know from day one I said this. I said, even if Liverpool falter, I don't think the chasing pack have it in them, right, to take advantage. Liverpool will still drop points. Liverpool might even lose it to Newcastle. But do you think Arsenal will beat Forest? I'm moving on to the Forest game. You think Arsenal will beat Forest?
They beat Forest 3-0 before.
No, but Akin, you don't seem to understand. So when I saw the lineup against West Ham and I saw Merino up front, personally, I wouldn't have played Merino up front. I'm telling you, right? Because
you would have kept Sterling? Would you have kept Sterling?
I would have kept Sterling, yes. You know why? Because whether you like it or not, you have Sterling for the next 3 weeks. You don't have a choice. So let him play. Let him play. Then if he messes up, then bring on Merino again, just like you did against Leicester. That's what I would have done.
For me, I would have played Tierney on the left if you're gonna play Merino, because Tierney is the best crosser of the ball on the team. But it is what it is.
Or I would have switched and say Sterling play up front, right? Trossard go to the left.
Go to the left. Yeah, I agree.
Right now, you just have to. That's the only. They say when they're available. I mean, when the desirable is not available, the available becomes desirable. And that's what you do. I would have played him, but hey, in
it is what it is.
It is what it is. So I don't think Arsenal will get 3 points against Forest. I'm telling you right now.
Okay.
Right here, right now.
All right.
Right.
What about Spurs? Spurs v City.
Spurs v City is going to be a basketball game. Goals all over the place.
Nobody playing defense.
A 3-3-4. Nobody playing defense. Exactly. 3-3-4-4. Yeah. But I think City might win that. I think City might win that. I think Haaland's injury has affected them in the last 2 games. His presence is enough for defenses and teams to respect, But once you have a Mamouche who is just coming in, who doesn't have the physicality, Mamouche between Konate and Van Dijk look like when meat gets stuck in your teeth. That's what it looks like to me.
Stop it. No, but Mamouche becomes more dangerous when Haaland is there. You know what I mean? So he just becomes more dangerous. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
Then
Napoli Inter.
That's the key game, Aki. That's the game of the week for me, more or less, because Napoli lost over the weekend. Como beat them. Says Fabregas is doing a fantastic job at Como. I'm telling you, I'm very, very impressed with him. Como is 13th on the table right now. They are far from relegation battle. They're like 11 points out of relegation, right?
It's amazing.
Very seriously impressed with him. So Napoli, that's 1 and 2. Inter Napoli. I think Napoli is at home. And now, like I said, it's 3-horse race. Atalanta is back in the mix again. They're just 3 points behind Inter. Because Atlanta won over the weekend, and I think Inter drew or lost. I'm not too sure. Right? So that's an interesting game. what's his name? That Scottish boy, the tall one, McTominay, is having
McTominay, yeah.
an
I know.
elite season at Napoli.
Yeah.
Elite season, right? And I'm looking at him and I'm like, this guy is better than everybody that United have in their midfield, bar Bruno Fernandes. It's better than everybody they have in midfield. They shouldn't have let him go. But hey, I
It is
don't know.
what it is.
It is what it is. So those are the games to look out for in the upcoming midweek and over the weekend.
Okay. Yinka, we're gonna
Yes, sir.
skip questions this week.
Yes,
we'll come back
we
with
will.
questions next week. But let's make sure we do it, because what I previewed this last week. What I want to do is you bring questions for me, I bring questions for you. So let's do that next week.
Fantastic. That works.
And
that works.
do we have a donkey?
Arsenal fans.
Arsenal fans.
Donkey of the week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking Gasperini as well, but Arsenal fans are worse. They're worse than the racists.
Worthy mention, Gasperini. Thank you for bringing. So Gasperini and Arsenal fans merged together. Yeah. Y'all are the donkey of the week. Be better. Do better.
We know better. Arsenal fans cannot do better, and we know they'll do this again. We know they'll do this again.
If you see the level of ridiculous takes on AFTV, in particular, I'm like, are you? These guys were blaming in one Neri. These guys were blaming Martin Lewis Kelly. These boys have no business being on the pitch. They should be in school.
The worst one for me, Yinka, the worst one was when someone said they're happy Liverpool won, and now they can rest knowing Arsenal are not gonna win. So I'm like, number one, the league is not done. Even Slot said it. That's number. I know you think it's done, but it's not. Liverpool have to keep doing. Liverpool have to keep doing what they're doing. You know what I mean? Yeah. They can't afford to lose games.
Mathematically, it is open. Yeah.
No, I get it.
But I get that. I get that.
So,
yeah.
And Liverpool, Arsenal go to Liverpool with 2 games to go. So it's Arsenal's job to make sure there's something to play for when they go to Anfield. It's Liverpool's job to make sure there's nothing to play for. You know? So it's Liverpool's job to make sure they win the league on or before that day. So Arsenal can give them a guard of honor or whatever it is they need to do. You know? So they need to be trying to humiliate Arsenal. You know? So the players come in dejected and Liverpool beats them 4-1 or 5-1. That's what. So, these are professionals. They play for different things. I mean, so, and if you don't believe me, Yinka, this same Arsenal that lost to West Ham just beat Leicester with a poorer performance, just beat City 5-1 with the same injuries. The only person that was not injured was Havertz. Yeah. All the other people, I think Martinelli played that game too. All the other people were there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, so anyway, okay, let's not get into another rant.
The last one I will say, someone said that Declan Rice should get over the fact that he would never be loved by West Ham fans. That the guy, anytime we play West Ham, that the guy shrinks. And I'm like, this guy played West Ham when we beat them 6-2. Last season, they beat West Ham at their house 6-0. He scored. So, see, if these players read this thing, how do you think they will feel?
Hopefully, they think the same thing we think, that they play for a club with a terrible fan base. It is what it is. It is what it is.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
We have come to the end of our show. We didn't quite get through. We didn't do an hour, but we're like an hour 20 minutes, so that's not too bad.
20 minutes. It's fine. That works for me. That's good enough. Okay. So once again, thank you everybody for the support. On track. We're targeting 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. We intend to grow from there. So please, we need your support. Tell your friends about us. Also, remember the giveaway that we mentioned is still active. So please do the needful. And we will see y'all next week. Aki.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Yinka. And we'll see you next week. Bye. Bye.